All right, Jay,
Yeah.
I got 2 questions for you. First question, a lot of these things that are happening in the background and around these third parties working towards whatever it is that Disney's doing next are happening because of the failure of Galaxy's Edge and the Galactic Starcruiser. I know that you have contacts and you have a lot of information sometimes that you can't share about the Galactic Starcruiser, but do you have any updates about that hotel LARPing Renaissance Fair in space situation and how Disney is handling it with them canceling now even some of the excursions during the summer, which should be the hottest and most envied time slots there are?
Yeah, so they once they canceled it out because of low occupancy, they did throw out a press release like 3 weeks later when the story broke saying, "Oh, we're just going to like repaint some of the rooms. That's why we canceled those rooms," which is not true because
Such
there
horseshit.
there were people they already had
Really
people
bad.
booked. There's already a date set in May for refurbishment. Like, and they have announced that from like beginning of the year. And those two days have been blocked out forever, because they're like, yeah, that's when we're gonna do this. So they started doing on that. The only other thing that's the weird thing that's been happening is like a lot of the employees have quit, and so it looks like they were bringing in employees to only work part-time. So they're bringing these employees to work part-time, which means they don't have to pay the benefits or pay all the salaries, which saves them money, things on that aspect, which is really putting a lot of pressure on the people that are there now, to make sure that they're booked solid. So I do believe that they have discounted everything around the Star Cruiser, but the Star Cruiser itself. And I think that will be next. It'll just be like, okay, well, we're gonna do a special spring cleaning. Here you go, get the Star Cruiser for this amount of money.
Got to get those bed bugs out of there, Jay. Those space
They
bed
know
bugs. They're a
that, yeah,
problem.
they know. They watch when this stuff's getting talked about. They watch videos from all of us. They watch, and I'm telling you that. And the biggest, it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone when they released that first commercial, and all of us trashed that Star Cruiser so bad that Disney privated that commercial. They got rid of it. They
It was
never
bad.
do that stuff.
It
They
was
usually
really,
just throw it out
really
there and
bad.
like just let it be. Then the next thing they did was like turn off the comments to everything. So they know what's going on. So they don't want to look embarrassed by giving it a discount, because they know all these videos will pop up and it'll be a talking point of how much of a failure it is. So they just want to make face. I still believe with everything in me that before the end of the year, and if I'm wrong, I will call it wrong, that they will introduce a 4-hour stay at the Galactic Starcruiser that you could buy in the park, that you can have lunch there, watch the dinner theater show, and do one of their little excursions, and then get
Do you
back.
get to ride in the back of the U-Haul too? It's a really
yeah.
lovely
You get picked
experience.
up at Galaxy's Edge. That's right. You get a special button, that they've already said now, because people have lost this pin that you get when you travel.
Right.
This is so silly, and then I'll be done. You get a pin if you go to Galaxy's Edge from the hotel, and that's what gets you back into the hotel. You show them, hey, your pin. Of course, you could show your ticket or your ID, whatever. People have lost that pin because it's made so cheap, and they refuse to replace it unless you pay a lot of money. So if you lose this $6 pin, they're like, you can't get back on the ship, sir. You need this pin. You got to go here and spend a lot of money to get another one. This is how cheap things have really gotten for the poor Galactic Starcruiser. But I haven't watched your video, Pro, but do you know this? I have heard that the Starcruiser will be in this next trilogy.
No, that would be something.
I would expect. I mean, if they didn't, I'd be shocked.
Heard that.
I have heard that because I tweeted out. I was like, "Rey's going to be in the next film." Everybody was like, "Of course." That ended up in a freaking article.
Did you beat me to this? Did you beat me to this? And I didn't know it, Jay.
I tweeted it out about 3 weeks ago. I said Rey will be in the next movie, and they're preparing this, and it's on my Twitter. And people took that tweet and put it in some articles, and then I said Rey will be on that with the Galactic Starcruiser to try to save the Galactic Starcruiser.
Yeah.
So another intoxicated Anthony Daniels report on Bloomberg.
I'm calling it now. The cantina scene in the next Star Wars is going to be the Hoop-de-Doo Galactic Starcruiser review, and they're all going to attend.
Well, look, to be fair, Jay has been pretty consistent on this where, Disney is going to continue to throw their weight behind Rey for as long as they can. And I remember, Jay was talking about if they make something else, Rey would be involved in a movie or something like this. And of course, this is when the news was starting to swell that Daisy Ridley was visiting or doing things. More articles were coming out. But you had the drop earlier today that it involved several other characters.
Well, so we didn't want to get into this early, but
no, I don't.
Now
we're going to save it.
I messed it up.
Now I'm curious though, Jay, because the fact that you had this 3 weeks ago and I didn't realize it, and the fact that you almost certainly have different sources than I have, and they're saying the same things now. Although I didn't know about the Galactic Starcruiser, that's just too much for me. That's really desperate. But that is another reason for people to listen to this and go, you know what? Both of those sides are still rumors, but now these rumors are crossing together from different sources. So let me ask you this then. I have heard that they want to do a refresh on the Galactic Starcruiser in the future, and that they want to bring a certain small, diminutive, green Muppet-looking animatronic on board to try to drive sales up. Do you have any information about a Muppet robot in a
That is 100% correct. I've said this for months now, that they've already built it. And
there's videos of it.
And it's already out at Disneyland.
Yep.
But I'm told they're holding it and won't put it in Disney World and Galaxy's Edge because that is the thing. That's the shiny piece of metal that they want to pull people into the hotel with.
Put it behind a paywall.
Absolutely. I 100% agree that will be that if they get to this point now where they're at, where they have to cancel because people aren't showing up, because the original number was, in order for them to run functionally, they needed 80%. They're now running on 20 to 25% occupancy. And so that's why they don't need all the staff.
Heard that. I'd heard 40,
yeah. It was
that's terrible.
That's not from that's an article from Walt Disney World News Today. So that certain nights were only at 20 to 25%. Actually, I did a video on that article. And so that's if it's like that, they're gonna have to pull the trigger and just say whatever. And come see Baby Yoda. You
can't LARP together with 20 to 30% because you don't have enough people to play little games.
Exactly. That's why they're canceling these rooms now. These random rooms. Even July 4th was canceled because apparently they only had two people booked.
Well, they were filling it with, and I don't mean to
not two rooms, just two people for a 100-room voyage.
Oh, that's amazing.
Two people, one room.
Holy!
Well, I'm not saying this to make light, Jay. I mean, I'm really not. I'm not doing this to be because I know that making.
We have lost Jonas. We have lost Jonas, y'all. He's gone.
Jonas is on the floor right now.
Can you imagine showing up to that cruise? Oh, that'd be amazing.
You've got the whole boat to yourself.
You just get to sit and have a long conversation with Chewie
with
2 hours straight of.
They gave. They've been giving away voyages for travel agents for free. To try to get them to write something, whatever, and to try to make it work. It's just not. You want to know the truth is? The truth is, even if it was not Rey and it was Vader and everybody that we love, I still think people during this time in our government or our history that it would still be hard to pay $6,000 for 2 nights. Just because of where we are in the world with gas prices and eggs and everything, it's very
made it a full year, Jay. It could have made it a full year. I mean, we're not even at the year mark.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. I think it would be more full. I think more people would plan ahead to try to get there than what it is now. The other thing is like I don't understand how you make a hotel that once somebody goes through it and records everything that you can do, and that's it. It's like there's it's like no rewatchability. You know, we have movies that we like to rewatch because they're so good. There's no reason to go back, even if you enjoyed it the first time. Listen, I have a good time at Taco Bell at 2:00 in the morning. So I'm not saying people aren't having a good time there. I could have a good time watching people at Walmart at 2 a.m. That's always fun. But it's
more fun than at 2 p.m.
It's like, it's like you've created something where why would I go back and spend that kind of money to do something I've already done? It's just there's no returnability to it. At least with the theme parks, it's not as expensive, and they're always adding and changing things and changing stuff for the seasons and festivals and stuff like that. I mean, even the restaurant foods and stuff like that, they have to constantly keep changing. Even theme parks themselves have to constantly keep adding new rides every year for people to come back, because they don't want to come back to something that's the same before. It's just logic. But this hotel, they're like sending out these feelers saying, why aren't you coming back? Why aren't you coming back? Why aren't you coming back? And that's been on the return email list for some of the people that have gone. And they're just like, why? I've already did it. I don't need to go back and spend that kind of money.
Well, Jay, the good news is that once this fails, they can actually bring in the people who designed the socialist commune replacing Splash Mountain, and they can come in and fix it. It's going to be perfect then.
Did you know? And I will not, I don't want to take up everyone's time, but I found this so interesting. And this poll, I should have been smart enough to save this poll. That somewhere Disney had a poll or something, and they were just asking a fun question: would you prefer a Star Wars themed hotel or a haunted mansion? And the haunted mansion, after like 7,000 or 8,000 votes, haunted mansion was like 98% to 1. People were like,
what they expected.
Not what they expected. And it's like, I'm like, oh, that's what a cool point. Didn't even think that it would be disappeared or would be gone. And that always stuck with me, because it's like, you are building stuff for people that don't want like they want this Disney. Who wouldn't want to go to a haunted mansion resort? Like, you're going in the ride. Yeah, it's dark. It's got the cool wallpaper. It's got the rooms. It's got the costumes. It's got everything. People are like, here's my money. Make this. And they're like, okay, well, we're not going to make that. We're going to make this instead. It just shows how incredibly out of touch these people are with everything.